And it's preparing the live on Facebook. Hello, hello, everyone. Giving it a moment for Facebook Live. It says it's setting up my meeting now. And done. So hello, everyone, and welcome to this client success story with my amazing soul line client, Michele. And she's also such a soul sister. We originally met back in 2017 when we were both doing our first theta healing certifications together and have just like deepened our connection over the years. It was amazing because we were like in person back in those days when everything was in person. So it was amazing to grow our connection and flow throughout the years. And last year, when Michele was so done just selling hourly packages, she was like, I'm ready to work with you. Let's do the thing. So she started off in a 6-ish week container. A lot of my containers start with like 6 weeks, and then I like tend to add bonuses and expand a little bit. I love to like overgive from my overflow. So in that container, it was amazing because you officially sold like multiple thousands of dollars of packages, like a 5K package. So going from like $85 hourly to $5,000 for a client, pretty fucking
Oh
awesome.
my God, it was incredible. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, like my heart is so happy that I get to share Michele's journey with you all, that it gets to inspire you. Heart, we're going to like share different pieces that she did along her journey. I'm also going to do some theta healing downloads to support you with wherever you're at on your journey, and also share some options of how you can like work with me if that's feeling like a pull on your heart and you've been feeling resonant in my world. So lots of stuff to get into today. So thank you so much, Michele, for being alive with us. And Michele
Thank you.
has so many amazing tools in her tool belt. She's a theta healer, medical intuitive. She supports people to be empowered on their healing journey, to experience healing in all areas of their life. You have incredible testimonials. You're like ability to read people's energy and find out what's going on inside. Like you've helped me with like period pain and different stuff going on in my physical body. So like I love all of your genius and superpowers. Do you want to share a little bit more about who you are and who you serve and all that fun stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. So I serve people who are on a spiritual path, get clear on what's actually happening in their body that is causing states of disharmony, dis-ease, disorder. What's really going on in there? So I'm really good at feeling into like the just like for example, I know somebody who has a hard time seeing the truth, and she actually developed like eczema around her eyes. So I'm really
Mm.
good at putting connecting dots to seeing like, oh, where does this energy show up, and like finding how the two kind of support each other, then disconnecting and or disentangling that energy from your state of being and finding much better ways of living and healing and moving forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. And I love the work that you do
Mm,
in the world and how powerful it
thank
is for your
you.
clients.
Thank you.
So we're here to celebrate that you've officially doubled your income. Like it's not just like, oh, I sold a one-off package, yay. Like you have
Uh,
consistently grown. So we started working together in that 6-week container, and then you were like, this is awesome. So re-enrolled into 6 months, and then recently again re-enrolled into another 6-month container. So like I
yeah.
love witnessing your expansion and seeing all the ways that you're showing up and meeting your edges and growing your comfort zones and serving more people and impact and just so amazing. So yeah, let's kind of like share with the people a little bit of your before journey, where you were at before starting working with me, and just let everyone know we're like gonna go that far back because I technically have two programs that I could be sharing here where it's like if you're kind of resonating with earlier parts of Michele's journey, being like, it's not my full-time income yet, or you have a day job or some other type of paycheck that you're relying on, it's like, cool. I have a container for the people who are newer in their business and desire to bless and release the day job or the other income that might be a little bit soul sucking, to bless and release that and to step into your business being more and more and more income producing so that you can then expand to be like, cool, my business is my full-time income. And then how can you grow even more pleasure, even more profit in that space of it's my full-time income now and you can grow. So I have containers for both energies, and it's really fun because a lot of my clients go on that journey and stair step. And I've had so many clients over the years and years that I've been doing this, that stair step on my journey. So I love that I now have two group programs that get to support that, where it's like, cool, you can start here and grow into this one. So where were you at before you started working with me? We touched a little bit on like the $85 an hour one-off
It
session.
was actually $85 less.
Oh, oh,
So it's even worse. Yeah.
clarifying.
Gosh. Yeah. So I was getting $80 an hour.
Mm.
And I relied on other people to find clients for me. I didn't believe in myself. I thought
Mm.
codependency going on, and I'm actually just kind of realizing that now, like, wow, yeah, I really did have a lot of, it's amazing when you're like a year out and you look back, you're like, wow, that's really cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was in a place where I didn't know how the clients were going to come. All I knew was that I was really good at doing theta healing. I healed myself from MS, and I've done some incredible things, and like the people that I did work with had some incredible testimonials. So I'm like, I know I'm here for more. I know that. Like my
Mhm.
soul knows that. But I had no idea how to get the why out of my head. So I was really, it's like I was stuck in my head, like the why. So I thought, I'm like, okay, well, unless and until I invest all this money in somebody who has a program that I can work and do the thing, and like all of the corporate. So it was almost like I was still stuck in that corporate mindset of all
Mm.
of the things that are you have to do in order to be successful, where you showed me that no, you get to be who you are
Mhm.
and get out of your head.
Yes.
Just like that. Like even today, I still hear that. Just trust the process, and surrendering to that process. And it's like allowing the energy, you feel your own energy, like, and you allow it to come in, and then it really does, it expands like a ripple, and then you show us how to channel it, and you offer the questions, like, or like during like our pleasure first, you're like,
Mhm.
okay, well, think, what is that domino piece for you? And you don't know what it's going to be, but I just like visualize like an actual domino falling, and lo and behold, the domino fell like like that same night. And it was just, so it really helped me get out of my head and into my heart, because I knew I'm here for something. And so it was like a huge leap of faith. It really
Oh.
was. But my gosh, like the expansion that I've had, like I am a different person than I was a year ago. And it feels so good. So
I love
thank
that.
you. Yeah.
Celebrating you. You're so welcome. It's such a pleasure. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with Pleasure First, that's kind of a thing from the
Mm.
embodied blueprint world where we like feed our body and drop in and like tune into your body's wisdom, tune into like your higher self, and like move from an inspired action space with like a fuller or ideally an overflowing cup so that you can like show up in your business in that space instead of a space where it's like, oh, I'm depleted and I'm giving to all these people and then I should. And it's like should energy doesn't really get you as far as like I'm filled, I'm resourced, I'm connected to my heart, my soul mission, and I'm going to do the best next step for me. And I'm all about inspired action steps instead of like a cookie cutter XYZ thing. So, like Michele was saying, like her domino piece, her best next step, her inspired action piece can be totally different than another client in the same group doing the same pleasure first experience. So I love that you brought that piece in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So we made a bunch of notes when our prep call before. So before you kind of had like a couple regular clients, and now you're in a different space where you've had so much more visibility, so many people reaching out to you, private clients, all the things. Do you want to share a little bit about that part of your journey?
Yes, yes. So I basically had two regular clients
Mm-hmm.
like before. And
Mm-hmm.
the odd one would show up every here and there, but it was like pulling teeth to get clients. And I would want them to book. I would want them to book. Not that I wanted them to have a problem, but I just really wanted to do my thing, you know. I wanted to be me,
Mhm.
and when they would call, I like, it lights me up. I love that I get to do this, you know. And then I was afraid to raise my rates, which was one of the first things that I did. And
Mhm.
so I raised my rates, and I told my consistent clients, like they've been with me since 2017, since I started doing this thing, right?
Yes.
So I was really hesitant to do that, but I did. And
Mhm.
now they're like, I'm seeing them, like some of them, well, actually, one I just saw her 3 times this last month, where before it was like pulling teeth to get her once.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
So I love that. So I saw her 3 times this month. The other one, yeah, she's monthly comes in, raise my rates. Oh, good, you're worth it, she says. It's like, oh, yes, I am. Like, so I love that my client, or yeah, my clients see the value in what I'm bringing. And so that felt really good. So then I was like, okay, so I'm moving forward. And then I got like my first major sale for a package. And it was like, oh my gosh. And it was like, I can breathe. It was like, I didn't realize how constricted I had been
Mm.
feeling until I could breathe. And I was like, oh, and it
Mhm.
was like, okay, so now it's like I'm playing with bigger numbers. I'm playing with more things. I'm allowing more things to come into my life. And
Mhm.
my income is just consistently growing. And I think it was
Mhm.
like last November, it was an official doubled
Mhm.
what I was normally getting. And as of, well, today, I guess it's April 30th today, like
Mhm.
it would be almost 3 times today for this last past month. So yeah, and like so it just keeps getting better and better and better.
So
Even
I'm
when
like,
I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna hold it. And it's like, but I do. So I
mhm.
don't know. So it's like that whole trusting the process again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. And that's another thing that like I am consciously bringing into our container is like expanding, meeting your edges, growing your comfort zone, holding it. This is your new baseline. Because I've experienced and I've had other friends and people experience where you grow and then you contract really hard. So it's super important to me that in the containers that I hold, it's like you grow, you have your expansion, there might be some wobble or like a little bit of contraction, but like you can hold this new baseline and then grow and expand again from there and hold it.
Mm.
So I do a lot of work on expanding your capacity to receive, your bandwidth to hold all this, like so that it gets to be consistently supporting you instead of one high and then you're low.
Mhm. And I love that too, because I believe I had a belief that, you know, like, okay, when you expand, then you're going to contract. I had that belief, so I didn't know how to hold it before. And now it's like, I can. So
Yes,
that feels good.
and
Yeah.
you are. You're
Yeah.
embodying it
Like
so
I
well.
held it for like 6 months now. It's just like, yay, I'm doing it. I'm doing the thing.
You
So,
are. Mm. Celebrating that so, so, so much. And you've
yeah.
also expanded your capacity to be visible. So do you want to speak on some of the amazing opportunities that you've had and then held for so long?
Yeah. So coming from a place where, oh my gosh. So, okay, let's first say shout out to the incredible manifester that I am, because I could use the
Yes.
fabric of the universe to sabotage all of the ways that
Hmm.
people could possibly find me, see me, talk to me, or anything else. It was like I had strategic, I didn't even realize I had had like 3 different names on my social media. So if anyone was looking for me,
Hmm.
you know, and Michelle's a common name.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, no, nobody could find me. And I didn't even realize that I was doing all that.
Right.
Um, and then once I became aware, oh, and I could somehow I could mess with technology in ways that my brain could never figure. So like
Hmm.
cameras would break, my sound wouldn't work, computers just shut right down on me. Like it was
Yeah, it would go all gerble gobbled, like,
right.
yep. I still remember those.
It was all the time. And but what I found with that was like I was being cheap.
Hmm.
And then I was like, oh my gosh. So that wasn't just like with technology, that was all areas of my life, because I was afraid to go all in, because what,
Hmm.
just that fear of uncertainty. What's the worst that could happen? And
Yeah.
chances are it's nothing bad, but that uncertainty can really, you know, so again, there's that trusting the process again. So
Mhm.
the domino piece, like about getting in the visibility. So I decided I'm done with the cheap stuff. I'm done. I'm
Yes.
so done. Like I'm not doing that again. And
Mhm.
my husband is like so good at that because he doesn't go cheap on anything and he always has like incredible okay. He always has like incredible success with the things that he buys, but he always goes for what he wants, not what he's settling for. So I recognized where I was settling and then I went for what I wanted, and I really haven't
Mhm.
had a problem. And so it's really cool, like that whole decision making thing.
Mhm.
So I decided, okay, I'm going to be visible. And then we were talking about that whole domino piece, and you got us to feel into that and what that could be. And I had no idea. I didn't have a clue, but I was willing to. I'm like, okay, I don't know what it is, but I know what a domino looks like. So I'm just going to picture the dominoes in my head. And the one big one that came and started the train, so to speak.
Makes
And
everything else easier or unnecessary. Like it just works. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that.
Mhm.
So what had happened, we had done that our session there, and then I was watching United Network News that night,
Mhm.
and somebody had brought up about the theta brainwave, which is kind of what I do and have been doing nonstop since 2017. It's like what I do. And so I was like, I just, it was insane. I never really felt anything quite pulling on me that way, but I had to comment. Like, so
Mhm.
here was me going into a group of a couple thousand people. I don't know who they are, whatever, but I'm like, I know how to get into the theta brainwave. Would people be interested in a field messenger report, which is something they do? They get people to talk about their local news. So I was like, would anybody be interested in a field messenger report on how to get into the theta brainwave so that you all can do this too?
Mhm.
And the response was like, oh my gosh, like 16 people immediately reached out, like, yes, how do I do this? How do I do this? And then the
Mhm.
actual news anchor for the show sent me a message. She's like, okay, Michele, we want to do some interviews. We want to do a few segments to put them up on, and it's so I'm actually featured in their segment called The New Earth.
Mhm.
And so I'm part of their care team in the New Earth. And they're developing a marketplace coming up soon and stuff. So it was like, wow, it was a huge domino. And then people started reaching out and getting clients
Mhm.
and the amount like and it's not just clients, like these are soul aligned clients because like the things that I subscribe to and believe in are not your typical things. Like I've had people come from there. We've
Mhm.
cleared like 1.5 year old problems. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't even know that that's a thing. I didn't really know that's a thing, but it's just so interesting to see the expansion that's happening by following my heart.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, it's really cool.
I love that. And I've been making
Yeah.
notes as you've been talking to kind of like seed it for other people watching because I've
Mm,
noticed like the self-sabotage and people not letting others find them. It's like, well, I don't want to be too visible. I don't want to have the haters. I don't want to have all these things. So
yeah.
a tip for anyone watching, if you have the same name throughout, same name on all of your socials, that's way easier for people to find you than if you're like, oh, I like fancy spiritual name here that I felt called one day. And like, it's beautiful if that's what you feel called to. And maybe you could like integrate that into like a program or a tagline or another part of your messaging. But it can be so powerful to have the same name across all
Yeah.
platforms that when people are like, oh yeah, that person that really supported me, that they type you into Google or they type you into the different social media platforms, they find you instead of finding something
Yes.
else or like spinning their wheels trying to find you. So that was a big piece. I love that you brought
Yeah.
in the soul line clients because that's such a huge thing for me to do with all of my clients is like have a clear list that you're calling in for your soul line clients. People who respect you, people who are ready, willing, and able and excited to invest in themselves with you, people who pay on time, people who show up to their calls with their homework done, like things that are
Right.
important to you, ensure that you have that on the list. And sometimes people can be like, well, I don't want people who tell me that they can't pay. I don't want people. So, like, cool. If you have a lot of those don't energies, have a separate scrap of paper, write out all the don'ts. Like, I don't want people who question it or who aren't really sure about all of the different tools or theta healing or Reiki or other like modalities. Have a list of all that so you can get clear on what's the opposite. Okay, people who have experience with theta healing and Reiki, people who are open to new modalities, people who are excited to receive the energy and can feel the energy working of the modalities that I work with. Like those things are so, so, so important. And it helps call in your people. Like we literally have soul contracts to meet with humans who need our work, like our gifts, our unique messages, our amazing coaching, healing, practitioner brains and energy and beingness. There are humans that need that. So we're an energetic match to them. And you get to be like, cool, this is who I'm calling in. This is my standard. And you can raise your boundaries along the journey. I know that's also been a thing for you, Michele. Like you can raise your
Yeah.
boundaries and update your soul aligned client list so you can continue to call in those versions of your clients and also invite your existing clients to step up into that. Like we teach people how to treat us. So having clear and open communication around what our boundaries are and how you work in the world is so important. Hmm.
Agreed.
And then the last piece that you were kind of like speaking to is the how. Like you've had a lot of stories around that of like, how do I do it? How do I do it? And then when you drop into your body knows. You get these callings, these intuitive hits and nudges to comment, to say yes to this opportunity. And you've had those expand into the like 3D in-person realm as well. So do you want to speak to some of those opportunities that have also come in for collaborations and being a vendor and those stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So after doing that first domino piece,
Mhm.
somebody who is an osteopath locally had been, she was looking for somebody, but she didn't even really know who she was looking for.
Mhm.
Turns out it was me, because that's how she found me, was through this new earth thing. And then she interviewed me for her program.
Mhm.
And then we went to, there was, it's almost like a little wellness expo that happens in a local town nearby that she was having it once a month.
Mhm.
And so I got invited to be a speaker on that. So I got to, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I've only ever helped at expos before. I've never really done anything. So I'm like, okay, but I'm here. So it's like, I
Mhm.
don't know what to do. So it's that whole surrendering about the brain thing, because I know my brain. And if you're familiar with human design, my brain is like wide open. So
Mhm.
I pick up on all these other things, and then I'm like stuck in my head on the how, and
Mhm.
like all the other modalities and things like that. That's something that's consistent for me, is the head games. So
Yeah.
I really have to, and also like Laura, you know my story too, like growing up with like multiple sclerosis and being sick, it wasn't safe to get in my body.
Mhm.
So I really enjoyed getting into my head and getting out of my body so that I didn't have to experience the pain that it was feeling, the emotions that were coming up, the anger, the resentment, that all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And as if somebody had told me years ago, like, no, yeah, actually, that's the way out, is through your body. I was like, oh, okay. Because it was a
Mhm.
whole different way of looking at things that I never, ever would have believed were there until like this past year. So now that I can get in my body, I can direct myself to, okay, I think I'd rather experience this than say that, like something that's
Mhm.
not pleasurable. So I know how to choose it. I know how to feel into my body now without the fear.
Mhm.
Um, I can follow my intuition. I can receive guidance, but it's not a head thing. It's a feeling. So it's learning
Mhm.
how to interpret frequency, maybe, and feeling.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this. And it's so like grounding for me to be like, oh yeah, and these things too. Cause sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, and like these are why I'm like doing this because I've worked with groups for years and years now. So I love that you're bringing the stuff in because we do have like a 90-minute call where it's like, yeah, we ground in with pleasure first and we celebrate all the wins. And we have like different teaching modules based on what everyone needs and stuff like that. And then we kind of open it up for hot seat. And over the years in my groups, I would have different stuff come through where I'm like, okay, I need to have a specific call. So we have an hour call for a hot seat where you can bring whatever to the call. It doesn't have to be business related because we're holistic beings. Like if you have something going on over here, it's likely impacting you in some way that could be impacting your business, or it could be very directly impacting your business. So I love having the space for hot seats where it's like, ask whatever you want, get whatever you
Mhm.
need. So I can use all of my genius mentorship, coaching, all my modalities, all the things to tailor it to exactly what you need. So when you're speaking to some of the stuff, especially when your like inner child comes up being like, well, it wasn't safe to me in my body. And oh, these old fears that are like stuck. Like we have the space to do inner child work. And for that to be a thing for you to do for homework, to like support these parts of you as you grow your business, support these parts of you and integrate them in as you're growing. And that's been so amazing to like witness you and like going deep into the anger and the emotions and like moving it through your body has created such a more clear and aligned channel for you because you're like in your body,
So, yeah.
you're listening within, you're sourcing that from within. So super
Mhm.
celebrating you for all the work in that space.
Thank you. Thank you. And I
Mhm.
love in the group too, it's like even though you support each of us individually,
Mhm.
it's like everybody kind of there's the same flavor to everybody. Like while it may not be the exact same thing,
Mhm.
but it's in the same category maybe, or
Yes.
like the flavor of it is the same. So whatever you're giving downloads and support for one person, it always gets tailored for everybody somehow, like some way. Like
Mhm.
it's really phenomenal how that happens. Like I don't think there's another group out there that I've ever seen anything like that happen. Like it's just really like wow, like everybody's got the same, it's not the same, but it's the same.
Yes.
Like it's just really
Mhm.
cool. And then like that sense of camaraderie, and like you form bonds with people when you're in groups because like you're going through the stuff, like the hard things. So you see people when they're at their most vulnerable, and it's not a bad thing. Like you actually see the beauty in people's vulnerability, and it makes you less afraid to be vulnerable yourself because you can see the benefit. And it's like, oh well, this person just got a healing because well here I can do that too,
Mhm.
so yeah, it's really nice. It's very nice. Yeah.
Thank you. And yeah, to like speak to that for everyone listening, like I've done groups for years and years now. So like I consistently get that feedback where it's like, wow, we all like jive together. So like I've had people where I'm like, you're actually not the best fit for this group and created something else or offered them other things. So like I'm very clear of the energy that we're all co-creating in the group. And I'm such a big stand for co-creation, not being like, I know all the things and the stuff in my brain, and I'm like a reflector in human design. So I'm very much in tune with the energy of everyone, desiring it to be best served for each of you individually and the collective. So I love when we're like doing wins, insights, and learnings at the end of the call, and someone's win is what someone else was on the hot seat for, and like that there's just so much overlap in what you are all
Yeah.
traveling through and journeying in, which is especially why I have two different pods now for people who are newer on their journey and people who are full time and desire to show up even more and expand their impact and income in the world and all those things. So yeah, it makes my heart so happy and to like see you
Mm.
all cheering each other on. And we have like celebration all throughout our like Facebook group. So bragging
Yeah.
and celebration, being encouraged and celebrating each other as if it's your own win, because you're like one person away from that thing. And to watch you all like
Yeah.
pop off of that energy and yeah, it makes my heart
Yeah,
so
that
happy.
bragging was fun. It was like everybody was like
Woo!
trying to out brag the other person. It was like-
All the brags, all the wins,
yeah.
all the celebrations. Thank you. Okay. Tuning back into our notes because we could talk forever and ever about all of the things.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm. We've talked about so much of it. I love that we keep flowing. Um, do you want to speak a little bit to how you felt the like strong inversion of looking at your finances before and
Mm.
now you're allowing the flow to happen? You feel so different. And a lot of my clients come to me in that space because they're more creatives and light workers and stuff like that. And I used to be a corporate accountant. Like I trained as a bachelor of business administration in university, and my parents had an in-home accounting business my whole life. So I started like working in that and doing bookkeeping and sorting papers and data entry at 10. So like I very much have the financial background and experience and love that I get to like support my clients in that and like help them with templates that like they can just input information into so you don't have to like go through all the heavy lifting yourself. Like I love supporting my clients in the financial realm and them just like expand on their own and like have a better relationship with money in general.
Yeah, yeah. And like, oh God, your spreadsheets are like awesome.
Thank
Like, like I'm like, I can look back and I know who paid me what, when.
you.
Before all of this, I had a strong aversion to looking at things because I would get in my head.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
I'd be scared because I was on a fixed income and it was like, okay, everything is going up in price. I don't want to, and this is like what I would actually say to myself, I don't want to see where I'm not making the mark.
Right.
So it was like that whole lack mentality. Like I was coming from a place of lack, like where I didn't even believe I could break even, and then I felt like a burden on my spouse and the rest of the world. Like,
Yes.
so it was easier to, if you don't look at it, it's not there, right?
Right. Mhm.
I mean, it is, but it's not, like, yeah.
Inner child
So,
part. Hmm.
right, right. So then it was like, okay. So I'm like, okay, you got to put your money where your mouth is, Michele. Like, you can't be on a soapbox saying one thing and then believing something different. So it was kind of like, okay, get what, like, I don't know, say the shit or get off the pot kind of
Hmm.
thing, right? It's like, okay, so what are you going to do about it? So I was like, okay, put on my big girl pants and I'm going to, because not that I'm a big Dr. Phil fan, but one of the things you hear him say is you can't change what you don't acknowledge.
Right. Hmm.
So I was like, okay, so I need to actually look at where I am. And I was scared. I really didn't want to. Like the resistance, it was like I could, it was so gross in my body. I did not like it.
Hmm.
And so I made myself do it. And I was pleasantly surprised that I wasn't nearly as bad off as I thought I was. Like I thought it was gonna be like, oh, this is gonna be a shit show to remember. And I was like, no, you're actually okay. Like
Yeah.
there was lots of room for improvement, but you're okay. So just aha, I'm okay. So that like my survival self immediately felt better because it was almost like I was avoiding all of like that whole running around avoiding the truth, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when I saw it, I'm like, oh, okay. So then I could breathe. And then
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, so I
Mm.
started and I can account for every penny
Yeah.
from the day I started that to today. Actually, about 2 weeks ago, because I'm a little behind and which is a reminder I'm gonna do it later. But
Uh-huh.
yeah, but I was like, I know how much money I spent at the grocery store. I know how much money I spent at Amazon. I know what I spent on my cat food. I know what I spent on dog food. I know what I've spent on soap. I know what I've spent on toothpaste. I know what I've spent on tires. I know what I've spent. And I also know that I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much more coming in. And so there's places I got a kitchen table now, which makes me so happy. I bought my husband tires that he needed the other day, and that feels so good. So
Totally.
now I'm not in that lack mentality now because now I'm like, yeah, I see what I have. I recognize it. And I know that I can create whatever I need to create. It's just that whole getting out of the head thing. When you let that go and get into your body and it's like it's a dance.
Yeah, and it like overflows into other things. So I also love that you were sharing with me that it's like now that you have excess money, you're buying better food and higher quality and your body's feeling better. Like, so
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, like I go to the farmer for my food.
Mhm.
I'm like, grocery store, yeah, there might be a few, like maybe some tea or things like that. But for the most part, I go to my farmer. So I know things are grass fed, organic. I know I know that everything's treated well. I know everything has been loved. So
Yeah.
I can feel the difference. I can taste the difference. Like, I mean, you give me like stuff from like the grocery store versus stuff from like the farm, I can tell the difference. Like,
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
body can tell the difference, and I deserve it, and I'm glad and grateful
Yes.
that I get to have it.
And it's like an upward cycle. It's like, cool. you worked on your money things, you expanded that in your business, then your health gets to increase. And then that gives you more energy to show up in your business and have more resource and not be afraid to take on more clients, to be like clear, like, oh, I have that time and space for that. And I have another spreadsheet where it's like, cool, you can like get clear on reverse engineering your income for the year to be like, okay, this is what I desire my income for the year to be. This is what that like turns into for a month. And then this is how many hours. So you can be like, okay, how can I ensure that I have a schedule that works for me so that you're not going into burnout or anything negative into your life. You get to enjoy all the self-care, overflow your cup, and serve from that overflow. So good. And I love that you brought in all the abundance pieces, because that's like across the board with my clients. Like I help people feel safer with their money, expand and heal their relationship with money, have way more abundance. And like also as being a reflector in human design, I get to like mirror and amplify other people, their brightness, their light in the world. So it like super warms my heart when I have clients expand like that. That it's just like all their brightness expands, all the things in their life just like feel better for them.
Yeah.
Good. I love it. Um, Anything else you feel called to share before I get into other questions about the journey, before, during, after?
I think unless there's a question coming up, I think I covered.
Yeah, I feel like we like floated a
Yeah.
little bit. Beautiful. So do you
Like
want
it's
to
just snowing.
I love it. So do you want to share a little bit for people the like behind the scenes of what your objections were before you made that first investment with me and that like scarcity piece that was coming up for you?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So first off, like with the first, I think it was 7 weeks was the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew I had to do something at the time. I knew I had to do something. And it was like, for me, it literally felt like I was taking the money and going to gamble it. Like I had all the reasons in my head of why this was not smart. How this was, you're like, this was not smart. Like this, all of the objections in my head. It was like I didn't know how I was going to make the money because, like I said, I was on a fixed income, so it's not like I could go work overtime or something. It was this was it. My husband, he was doing overtime trying to make ends meet. So it was like this whole energy of striving, and I thought, oh my God, how dare I add one more thing to strive for? And it's like, well, wait a minute now. It's like recognizing that was my head running away again, right? And I'm like, okay, it's like I have to do something. I have to learn. I like nothing ventured, nothing gained. And I'm a manifesting generator. So I also had that yes in my body. So, which is kind of that how I know, like some people, they have to get over their emotional wave or the
Mm-hmm.
sounding boards and things. For
Yep.
me, it was that body. So I was
Mm.
like, okay, so I had this huge conflict between what my head was telling me and what my body was telling me. But then I decided, okay, go with your body, because all my life I went with my head, and look where that got me. So
Right.
now I'm choosing to feel my way through life. And
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, the difference.
Yeah.
So I took that leap of faith. I invested in myself, and it paid dividends that I've never experienced before. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And enough so that when it came around to the next 6 months, I'm like, I can't stop now.
Mm-hmm.
Reinvested, got another VIP client. Like, I can't stop now. Like, I have, what's the word we're looking for there? That return on investment. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
It's so done. It's like,
Yes.
and I would not be where I am today. If I had not done that, I would still be having like 2 to 4 clients a month.
Mhm.
I'd still be living in lack, scarcity mindset. I would be, oof, not where I am today. And
Yeah.
now it's like I feel fulfilled. I'm excited. Like I get to help people heal. How awesome is that?
Mhm. It's amazing.
It's yeah, like it feels so good when I have a client tell me, like I had a client the other day she started working with me in February, and I didn't know this, but she couldn't ride she always used to ride her bike, but for the last 4 years she hadn't been able to ride her bicycle. but she can ride her bicycle again. She just told me this the other day. So like, that's so awesome. Like,
Yay.
so it's fascinating that it's like, because I know what it's like to be trapped and stuck in a body that's not working for you. And when you can break free of that and get it working again and move forward and embrace life and live what you came here to do instead of just settling,
Mhm.
it's amazing. So yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
So find a credit card, do something. Like the money will come. It will. It will.
Mhm. I love that. And that's such a big thing that I'm a stand for in this like coaching healing world is having my clients make a return on investment, ideally during the program. And you did during the first 6 weeks that we were
Yeah.
together, and then you did again for that 6 months together, like
Yeah.
making the return on investment in the short term during the
Mhm.
program, if not
Mhm.
very shortly after. Like that's so important to me, especially because I've seen other things in different corners of the internet where it's like people just pay into these mentors or coaches and they don't ever get their return on investment and they go into debt. And like that completely breaks my heart to see people who have incredible gifts to share in the world who go into massive debt,
Yeah.
who end up having to go back like backwards on their journey and they feel it. And like I'm expressing stories that people have shared with me where they're like, I did this and I was growing and now I'm back at square one. I'm back in a day job
Mm.
or I'm filling in the gaps with these like in between things and like it feels like a failure to them or they're like really nervous to like try to grow their business again. So like that part completely breaks my heart. And something that I'm such a big stand for is like investing in yourself and getting the return on investment in the short, medium, and long term. Not just like, oh, one day all the stuff that you're doing now might pay off and might pay dividends. That's great, especially for the people who desire more abundance and more money and more like financial well-being and increase in cash flow. Like that's so important for me to bring in to my client containers. Mhm.
Mm.
I love that. Thank you. Okay. Let's drop into some healing downloads to support people. I love that we like brought in a bunch of conscious pieces all throughout. And we're going to do some healing downloads through theta healings. All you have to do is say yes to receive it. And if you don't desire it, you don't have to say anything. So do you want to clear, release, and let go of all the junk, negative energy, negative emotion, frequencies, thought forms, misqualified beliefs, and energies that don't serve you? And if you'd like all that, you can say yes.
Yes.
And do you want to know what it looks like and feels like to tune into your higher self, your higher power, be that God, creator, source energy, the universe, Mother Earth, to allow you to expand on your journey, to allow you the space and the safety to make your next best step and to tune into your body's wisdom to know what those unique steps are for you and to deepen your trust in the baby steps that you're being guided to take. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And you want to know what it looks like and feels like for your life to be in an upward spiral, for things to build on each other, to allow the steps that you're taking forward to be met by the magic of the universe, by the synchronicities, by the opportunities, and that you can see those opportunities clearly, that you can have the energy and the bandwidth and the resource within you to say yes to the ones that are in your soul to say yes to, and that you have the space and the grace to be a human on your journey. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. Do you want to know what it looks like and feels like through your higher power to deepen into trust in yourself, trust in your own unique path and journey, and know what it looks like and feels like to feel safer in your body, safer with money, safer with your clients and your business, and also to know what it looks like and feels like to take whatever gold nuggets that you got from this experience from listening in, that you can transmute that into a way that is grounded for you, that integrates it in, that makes sense for you, so you can take your unique inspired action step from there without comparing yourself to others, without shooting on yourself, without downward spiraling in any way, that you can allow yourself the freedom and the flexibility to go on your unique path in a way that feels good and pleasurable for you. And if you'd like that, you can say yes. And we could integrate in all of those changes. And I can offer you a general healing for any and all other areas of your body, life, and business that are ready to be healed right now, and fill you up with your higher power's unconditional love, compassion, peace, and prosperity. And if you'd like all that, you can say yes. And take some really deep, cleansing breaths. And feeling into your body, noticing how your body's feeling now. And definitely drinking some water, supporting your body with that. And I'd love, love, love to hear how that felt for people. So if you're watching the Facebook Live or the replay of this recording, feel free to comment how your body's feeling. Michele, how's your body feeling?
A little more grounded.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. So if someone's watching this and feeling into getting on a call with me or feeling into working with me in one of the new group options or the existing one that's been going on for such a long time now, or like VIP private client, like what would you say to someone who's been listening all the way to the end and who's
Do
feeling
it. It's like, just do it. That nagging little voice that's I wonder. Yes, this is what you've been asking for. Take the leap. It will pay off. It has 3 times for me in a
Yeah.
year. So yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate you saying that. And also, I appreciate that you were also willing to have people private message you, because sometimes people are like,
Absolutely.
I see certain things on social media, and I've even done that when I've been curious about investing with my mentors. Like, I like to vet people. So I've had people that I've reached out to be like, okay, what's it actually like in their container? And I'm so grateful for them. And I've also had other people who are like, ooh, okay, what's that coach actually like? And I've like shared all the things with them. So you also offered that as well, that if people are
Yeah,
curious about working with me and don't want to originally just like reach out to me or want to like get on a call with me and talk to you about what it's actually like that you're open to people messaging you.
absolutely. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you
Hit
so,
me up
so
with the questions.
I
Yeah.
appreciate you. And how can people connect with you and follow you if they're like resonant with your energy?
Okay. Well, you can like me on Facebook, my page on Facebook page. And I also have a website, MicheleAnne.ca. So Michele is spelled with one L. So MicheleAnne.ca.
Woo!
And there's healing downloads on my website. You can book a session. You can just reach out and ask questions if you have any. So yeah, I look forward to everything, all of the things.
Lovely. And when we get off here, I'm also gonna tag Michele in the Facebook Live that we're doing. And Michele, you can like put all of your amazing ways to reach you in the comments so that
Yeah,
they can see you there.
we'll do that.
Thank you. And if you're feeling called to working with me in a container, if you're newer on your journey and feel like, oh yeah, I'm resonant with that, where it's like, yeah, I have a fixed income like Michele was a year ago, where it's like, I have money, it's sustaining me, but I really desire to grow my business and to have that really sustain me and to let go of a day job or have the ability to double or triple your income. Like my clients get these types of results. So if you're interested and you're in that space, amazing. If you're already a coach, healer, practitioner, and you're full-time in your business and you're making great money and you're like, I desire my next level of impact and income in the world, or have more pleasure or more time freedom. Like I love serving and supporting clients in that space as well. So we have 2 different pods for groups for the different energies that I'm helping and supporting my clients with. So I have that. And then I also have VIP private clients for humans who are like, yeah, I want to have 20K months. Yeah, I want to expand and like have the most ideal life and support them in ways of pleasure, which we can't get too much on without censorship on
Right.
social media. And having like the ideal lifestyle and support in just all these areas. So if those are Calling to your heart, if you're feeling that gentle nudge within your soul or louder nudge because you've been in my world for a while, I would love, love, love to get on an increase your impact and income call with you to get really clear on where you're at on in your journey, like the gaps between where you're at right now and your desires, where your heart is calling you to be, so we can like let you know where some of those are. I'm great at seeing people's blind spots. Like I've mentioned a couple times now, I'm a reflector in human design. So it's like a bright neon sign, that blocker thing that you haven't been able to quite figure out or someone else hasn't. Like that's one of my superpowers as a reflector is like it's very clear to me. I'm able to see the gaps and to support you and being like, okay, like this best next step is going to make everything else easier or unnecessary for you to do. Like that domino piece that Michele was talking about, instead of like putting herself out to like 20 different podcasts and all these things and all this stuff and doing all this effort and like masculine energy work in the wrong place, she like kept following her divine inspired action step and made it all so much smoother to get clients and to have more visibility and to have more impact in humans' lives. And then we can also talk about some best next steps moving forward, whether it's with me in a group container or privately or a hybrid. I also love doing like upgrades where it's like you're in a group container and you also get some private time with me. I'm very much in the like co-creative energy of it working for you, like you having the best fit in my world. And if it's not with me, I'm happy to share resources. I'm happy to share referrals. Like I desire other coaches and healers and light workers and practitioners and service based entrepreneurs to like have their ideal life, to be the change that we all wish to see in the world, that we can all like rise the tide together. So that's the thing that's most important for me. I'm never like pushy or weird energy or like sleazy salesman energy. Like I'm very much heart-centered sales. So it's a win, win, win situation only in my world. And we get to like support you on this complimentary call. So if you're feeling called to that call, I'll also put the link below so you can apply to work with me and we can see how we can support you, either in my container, in my world, or through something else. So sending everyone so, so, so much love. Is there anything you feel called to add in before we close, Michele?
I don't think so. I think you covered it all. Yeah.
Yeah, we covered it all. I'm
Yeah.
looking at my notes. I'm
Yeah.
like, we just flowed and we shared all the things.
Yeah, it was easy.
Beautiful. Well, sending everyone so
Mm,
much love. Thank you again, Michele, for the time and
mm.
space sharing your success story and your journey over this like whole year now, a little bit more that we've spent together as a like
Wow, eh?
client coach dynamic. And yeah, especially because you were a friend for so long, like it really warms my
Mm.
heart that you've been able to expand so much and you get to support the world with your like beautiful gifts. So thank you for all that you're doing. Thank you everyone else who listened into the end. And if you have someone that you'd like to share this with, I definitely encourage sharing or like copying the link and PMing people, like whatever best serves you and them. So thank you again. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.